My boyfriend is not invited to a wedding to set me up with their colleague, so I humiliated him in front of them. I was asked to be a member of the wedding party. Despite this, I was the only person, not only at the wedding party but also at the ceremony, who wasn't allowed to have A+1. I was told it was because my relationship wasn't serious enough despite us being together for a year. Only engaged or married couples were invited, and that they didn't want some random guy in their wedding pictures who I might not even be with later in the future. There have been no conflicts between them and my boyfriend. He's a nice and mild-mannered guy who gets along with everyone, so I don't think it was about him personally. I get to the ceremony and find out that literally everyone else has A+1, not just married couples, but there are couples there who have been dating for less time than me. This is when I started feeling surly. I smiled and played my part during the ceremony, but inside I was very surly and angry. We then got to the reception, which had way more people than the ceremony. This is where all the more distant friends were invited, and everyone there had A+1. I was literally placed at a table as the one single person, and everyone else at the table was a couple. Some at the table were other members of the wedding party, but others were random distant acquaintances. People started asking me where my boyfriend was, and I said I was told he wasn't invited. They asked why, and I said I had no idea why. This is when I started letting my surliness show and started acting rude and mean because I was humiliated. And then, I was brought into conversation with the couple's male friend, Dean. I was previously told that Dean has a crush on me, and I made it clear I wouldn't be interested even if I were single. Even after that, he kept trying to message me and I ignored him. But now the people who brought me into conversation with Dean were standing around staring at us and giggling behind their hands, like they thought they were Cupid matchmakers. Dean was a participant in this. Dean is standing there looking smug, so I already start feeling more angry, because this reminds me of the second grade lunchroom scenario and I'm already imagining how it's going. He started with "Hey beautiful" and I went "What do you want?" in an angry tone. I think he sensed that this wasn't going to go like what he had in his mind, but he continued what he planned out. So he said, "I just wanted to ask you something," and I said, "What?" He went, "There is something wrong with my phone, can you help me fix it?" I said, "I don't know anything about phones, sorry I can't help you," and turned around to go back. And he went, No, what's wrong with my phone is that it doesn't have your number in it." And I just went off, because I already made it clear I was not into whatever this was. I already turned to leave, but he interrupted me leaving and kept going despite it all. I was furious because I was already angry, plus he wasn't paying attention to how I felt or caring about it, so I felt like he deserved what I was going to give to him. I raised my voice and said, "Dean, F off and leave me alone. No, you can't have my effing number. No, I don't want to go out with you. I don't want to talk to you. I'm not attracted to you. I don't want anything to do with you. You are not interesting or attractive to me at all. I want you to leave me the F alone." He was looking down during all of this and not at me, and I said, "I want you to look at me and agree you're going to leave me alone from now on, yes or no?" And he said yes, and I said, "Look at me and say yes." So he did. I turned around and left him alone after that. I know I humiliated him and I did it on purpose. I hate to admit that, but it's true. I was meaner to Dean than I've ever been to anyone in my entire life. I was as fully rude as I've ever wanted to be when being the target of someone's romantic interest unwantedly. It's true I don't really know if I was being set up, but I was already furious before that happened. Everyone was silent and awkward. I went back and finished my meal, and as soon as I was done, picked up my purse and left and went straight to my boyfriend's house, skipping most of the reception, cake cutting, speeches, and everything. I'm now being told by the couple that they're hurt and confused why I left so early. I replied I was uncomfortable because I was the only one without A+1 after being told nobody but engaged or married couples would have them. Multiple people at the reception started repeatedly asking me where my boyfriend was, and I was getting more and more humiliated, especially since I was seated with a colleague and their Tinder boyfriends. It was humiliating to be the only one singled out and I was extremely upset. Here is the reply I quickly got. "We just meant no +1s for the ceremony. It was perfectly fine for you to bring your boyfriend to the reception, and that's what we assumed you were going to do. That's what we always planned for. The reception is much larger and looser. We never heard from you about bringing a boyfriend to the reception, so we didn't plan for it, but it always would have been fine." I didn't reply, "I know they just want to come clean and I hope they won't do it again."